I have a concern. What now? I want to speak to the people who are holding on to hate. The greatest danger isn't that you hate them. It's that little by little you stop looking like Christ. I want to speak to the people who say, I don't hate them. I just don't care what happens to them. Indifference can become hatred after it's been left unattended long enough. I want to speak to the people who keep saying, they don't deserve my forgiveness. Hatred always keeps a record of wrongs. Love doesn't. I want to speak to the people who replay what they did over and over. Every time you relive the offense without surrendering it to God, you're building an altar to your pain. I want to speak to the people who have been comfortable hating. The most frightening part of a hardened heart is that it no longer knows it's hard. I want to speak to the people who pray while refusing to let go of hate. Be careful asking God to fill a heart you're unwilling to empty. I want to speak to the people who say, that is just how I feel. Feelings make terrible masters. Bring them to God before they become your identity. I want to speak to the people who think hate only affects the person you hate. Hatred is a slow fire. It doesn't just burn the one you're staring at, it quietly consumes the one carrying it. I want to speak to the people who have made hatred a part of your identity. If you can't imagine your life without that resentment, it has become more than a wound. I want to speak to the people who are waiting on God to punish someone. Be careful asking God for judgment while depending on his mercy. I want to speak to the people who celebrate when your enemy falls. If another person's pain makes your heart rejoice, ask yourself what spirit you've been feeding. I want to speak to the people who have rehearsed the offense more than you've remembered God's faithfulness. What occupies your thoughts eventually occupies your heart. I want to speak to the people who have become known more for what you're against than who you're for. If people can clearly see your hatred but struggle to see Christ, it's time to ask what your heart has been proclaiming. I want to speak to the people who spend all your time talking about your enemies. Don't forget, in somebody else's story, you're the enemy. Be careful praying for judgment when you're living by mercy. We want to leave you with one final word. Don't become so consumed with who hurt you that you forget your own need for forgiveness. The cross reminds us that every one of us needs mercy far more than we deserve judgment.